let's go ahead and look at this example. So take like 30 seconds, just do a quick read here of what's going on. You've got a local newspaper published an article that reported that dogs kept as pets tend to be overweight. Vets say that diet and exercise will help these chubby dogs get into shape. The vets propose 2 different diets. They label them Diet A and B, and 2 different exercise programs, Plan 1 and Plan 2. Yes? Okay, well, this question is not about what the dogs are feeling, sadly, but I want to make sure everyone knows no dogs were hurt in the making of this problem. Okay, so Diet A is the owners control the portions of dog food and dog treats. Diet B, the dogs are given a mixture of fresh vegetables with dog food and substitute regular dog treats with baby carrots. Oh my God, that sounds terrible. Plan 1, 3 30-minute walks a week, or Plan 2, 20-minute walks every day. 60 dog owners volunteer to take part in this to help their chubby dogs lose weight. All right, so now this is kind of the first thing, and I mentioned this a few minutes ago. This first question, all these subparts, it's really about vocab. So if you haven't read the chapter, or if you haven't listened to the actual lecture on these vocab words, this might be a little bit tough. So let's go through it. Subjects. Who knows what the subjects are? The chubby dogs. And if you know, go ahead and put how many there are, right? In this case, they're telling us how many. So let's be specific and say 60 chubby dogs.
Are you assuming that each dog owner owns one dog?
Great assumption. I have no idea, but yes, we're going to say that each dog owner owns one dog. So it could be 60 chubby dogs, but it may also be, if it's 60 owners, maybe it's more like 80 or 90. I don't know. I don't know the average number of dogs per household. Okay, the factors. Who knows the factors? That word. Yeah, Carlos?
Diet.
Very good. That is right. The factors are diet and exercise. All right, so these are the factors. Okay? Now, when you look at diet, how many levels do we have? We have 2, right? So we have for diet, I'll kind of put it under here. We have 2 levels. We have diet A and diet B. Okay, now for exercise. How many levels do we have for exercise? Very good. So 2 again. So Plan 1 and Plan 2. Now I wanted to show this little graphic, and that's not the only way you can show this, but the next part C, says the number of treatments, right? And that's a word we're going to use when we're talking about experiments. All right. And I don't want you to think that treatment is always like a medicinal thing, right? A lot of times when we think of treatments in society, we're talking about how it can help us feel better. But in this case, with experiments, it's just what you're assigning to each subject. So in this case, how many treatments are we going to have? We're going to have 4. There's 2 ways to do it, okay? You can look at diet and exercise. That's 2 factors. And how many levels were for each? 2. So what's 2 times 2? That's 4. Or you can count them, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? So it's up to you how you want to do it. So if you multiply the number of factors and the number of levels, that will give you the number of treatments. All right, now, because I want to make sure you guys know what those treatments are, I want to go a little bit farther. If we have 4 treatments, what is treatment 1? What do you want treatment 1 to be? Diet A. Is that Hannah? Is that you, Hannah? Okay, diet A and? Excellent, thank you. Hannah, can I stick with you? What about treatment 2? Okay. Now, did anyone else, did their brain say diet B, Plan 1? Yes? Is that wrong? No, right? Hannah's brain just wanted to keep the diet the same and change the exercise plan. But if you wanted to go the other way and change the diet plan, that's fine, right? We're just listing them. Okay, Hannah, keep going.
Diet B, Plan 1.
And the last one.
Diet B, Plan 2.
Awesome, thank you. Good job. All right, so these are the 4 exact treatments that our dogs will be assigned. Okay, now remember, each dog will only be assigned one treatment. Okay, only one of these 4 treatments. Okay, now let's see if you guys know about this term single blind and double blind. Will this experiment be single blind, double blind, or neither? Anybody remember what blinding means? Did we read it or listen to it in the lecture? Okay, well, single blind means that there's one group, whether it's the people that are receiving the treatments, like the subjects, or the evaluators, will not know which people are getting what, or in this case, which dogs are getting which treatment. All right, if it's double blind, then both groups do not know. Okay, like my father was a part of a trial for a new drug where he did not know for an entire year whether he was taking the drug or was taking sugar pills. All right? That's an example of using a placebo to help continue with blinding. All right? So placebos are used in clinical drug trials to make sure that you don't just take the drug and think, oh, I feel better. Like, oh, sir, you're on sugar pills, so you're not actually better. Okay? That's called the placebo effect. So that's one way that we implement blinding. So let's think about this scenario. Can you think of a group of people that don't know what's going on? Say it again? The dogs, right? The dogs, unless they're smart dogs, right? I don't know. The dogs don't know, for sure, but who does know? The dog owners, right? So the dog owners, right? These, again, I know this is bothering Carlos, but these 60 dog owners, they're going to know, right? Because they're going to know what they're feeding the dog. They're going to know how often they're going for walks. So it's definitely not blind with the owners. But let's think about for the flip side of that. All right, if I am one of the vets that's looking at the results, right? And again, we're going to be answering this question at the end here. But the only thing I care about is what? What do I care about with these chubby dogs? What's the only thing I'm measuring?
Weight.
Weight, right? All right, I'll even accept, if you wanted to say, I would hope, weight loss, right? Well, weight is fine, okay? If I'm the vet or one of the many vets that's looking at the results, looking at the weights, do I need to know what dog number 6, what treatment they had? Do I? Do I need to know? No, I don't need to know. I don't need to know yet, right? If I'm a vet that says, okay, here are the 60 results, all right, I want you to take a look at the data, tell me which treatment worked the best. Do I need to know this yet? No, I just need to know treatments 1 through 4. Then I say, you know what, here you go, here are my results. Treatment 2 showed the best results. Then they'll tell you, oh, look, treatment 2 was actually this. But do I need to know exactly what the treatment was? No, so I think that at best, we can make this single blind. We can make it single blind where the evaluators, whether those are vets or not, the evaluators don't need to know the exact treatments. Now, you're right. Eventually, someone needs to know to actually publish or produce the results. But in terms of analyzing the data, they don't need to know. All right, everybody feel okay about single blind, double blind, placebos? Yep. Okay. So we talked about the response variable. We care about weight, right, or weight loss. Now let's see if we can design this. Now you can design this with words, with a graphic, whatever is your preference. I like to use words, right, sentences. But if you like to draw or show me in some way, that's fine too. All right, so how many chubby dogs did we have? We had 60, right? So 60 chubby dogs. How many treatments did we have? 4. So 4 treatments. Now that works out nicely because if I think of 60 total dogs with 4 treatments, how many dogs will get each treatment? 15, right? So 15 chubby dogs in each group. All right, now let me start writing some actual sentences because none of those have actually been sentences yet. So I'm going to randomly assign 15 dogs to each treatment. each group will receive the treatment. How long do you want them to receive the treatment?
6 months.
6 months. Anyone else? No one else cares? Okay. Okay, good to know. For 6 months.
I guarantee.
It's okay. Thank you, Carlos. I know you did. That was actually the amount of time that I was thinking in my head, too. That's right. That's just what our vet told us when my dog was overweight. Don't worry, she's slimmed down a bit. She was at 66 pounds. We're like, yeah, she really needs to be under 60. And so 6 months later, 59.2. Yes. Well done. All the treats for you. Okay. So after 6 months, what are we going to do?
Measure their weight.
Okay. So measure the weight of each dog and compare to starting weight. Now that is enough to answer this question, right? This is a very basic question, but I want to go a little bit farther because all you guys are very bright kids. And let's actually think if we were going to do this, okay? I don't know a ton about dogs. I have one dog, but I'm not like an expert on dogs. But I do know that dogs are different, okay? So when I look at this experiment, it can be helpful, but what would be something that would be more helpful? What could I change about my experiment to make this more helpful? Look at the breed, right? Because my dog is a mutt, right? And there are other dogs out there that are purebred, right? And there are small ones, medium-sized ones, large ones, right? So this is something that Yasmin mentioned, all right, that if you didn't read the book or if you did not listen to the lecture, she's getting into something called blocking. And we'll talk more about this next week, right? But blocking is basically thinking of a characteristic. In this case, we're saying breed of dog. All right, and if you block by breed of dog, that means you're separating based on breed. Because if I just look at group B, and group B's got a couple of small dogs, a medium size, a big one, that's not really going to be helpful to determine which treatment is the best. I would need to block by breed and make sure that each breed, right, has groups within it that had those 4 treatments. Then I can see which treatment is effective for all these breeds. Okay? So that's one way it could be better. There's one more way I think we can make this better. Ooh, interesting. Age. You can block by age. That's not what I was thinking, but you definitely could block by age is another one. That's great. What's another thing that we could do, and that's not blocking, that can make this more effective?
Each dog do each treatment.
Interesting. Each dog do each treatment. That would be tough to do. So you're talking about like for 2 years then?
Yes.
Okay, so making a longer experiment. All right, do you have the time and money is always the question on that. This is a made-up thing. So yeah, we got the time, we got the money. Yeah. You would, yeah. That's the problem with that is that if they do lose weight, then what do? Do we continue to have them go down? Because we don't want them to waste away, right? We don't want them to die. What I was thinking is, because it's not happening here, is we don't have a control group, right? We don't have a group of dogs that's getting nothing. I don't mean nothing, right? I want them to get food, right? They would die. I mean, they're not getting anything specific from our treatments, right? We have nothing to compare it to because ultimately this experiment is not flawed, right? But what would be more helpful is to be like, okay, Carlos's dog was on treatment A, right? Jessica's dog was on treatment B. Everyone's got a dog on a different treatment. But what about someone's dog that's on no treatment, all right? That's on whatever diet they've always done. Right? Because maybe over 6 months, the person that's on the control group, maybe theirs fluctuates too. Right? We don't know how much their weight fluctuates. I mean, I don't. I don't measure the weight of my dog consistently.
You don't measure the weight daily?
Every 6 months she gets weighed when she goes to the vet.
You don't just bench press your dog?
No. Yeah, this feels about 62. Yeah. No, I do not. That's what I do with my children. But ultimately, that was a joke. I guess we missed that one. Sorry about that. I don't actually bench press my
That's the
children.
problem, see, I laugh.
I know, but you can't tell. Oh, okay. Like, that was a joke. Okay. There you go, see. Anyway, what I was trying to show you with this little sidebar here is that these ideas of blocking and control, if you want to be running an effective experiment, they probably need to include these. Blocking is not a must. It will happen on most of them, but it's not a requirement. Control is a requirement. All right. If you can't compare it, that's not very helpful. Okay. So that's why I mentioned like in the one that my father did, right? He could have been a part of the control. He doesn't know. Any questions on this whole process? Okay, let's go ahead and stop the video. No, don't cancel it. No, I don't want to cancel it.